As far as just Georgia Tech and this game itself, I mean, how would you describe what you've seen from them so far on film?
You know, Georgia Tech they got a new coach, and they've implemented a system that is very difficult to defend. It's kind of a mixture of Dana Altman's system that he runs out in Oregon, which is well thought out, similar to Louisville. Louisville has a system that they run. They've been very successful with, and so does Oregon, and it has a little bit of Princeton cuts in it along with what the Oregon runs, and it's very challenging defensively. The spacing is excellent. They have constant ball movement. They have flashes and cuts and posters up, and they have pressure releases all over the place. And so they put themselves in positions where they've been right there on just about everybody they played. The only game they really was out of it, was the Duke game. And even though they've won 3 games, those 3 games that they lost, they were right there for the majority of the game. So we have a clear understanding of what we have to do. They are multi-defensively. They have a multi-defensive scheme. One thing, full court pressure, 1-3-1, what they do a lot against Carolina, that rotates to a 3-2 and a 2-3, and they played boxing 1 the other day on Virginia, and I'm sure they got triangle 2 in their system, and they play man-to-man. So they do a lot of things to jump the game up, keep you off balance, and I think you saw our kids not handle that very well. At least the second group that went in the other day, they kind of got stymied by that, switching the defense and showing one defense and going into something else. So hopefully thank goodness we got a couple of days to prepare for it, and hopefully it won't bother us.
What are some of the challenges of 3 games in a row on the road, whether it's just even being away from home for that long, or what are some of the issues that potentially presents?
I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to learn, to grow, and mature. The 6-game gauntlet, as you guys dubbed it, I thought it was a good opportunity for us to be forced to come together. I thought that was, you had the sense that we all had to be connected, to get through this challenge that no one else has been able to really go through. So that was a motivator. It kind of kept us focused. We had our attention. Now going on the road, playing 3 straight games on the road, I also think creates that same scenario where now with the challenges of going on the road and winning is at such a level that I'm sure that we're going to use this to stay connected even more, and to realize when you can go on the road and be successful, that puts you in a pretty good position at the end of the season. So I think both of these situations, even though they're challenging, you have to look at for what they are and turn it around and make maybe which could be a negative into a positive.
Chuck was saying that with this trip from here, you go from Atlanta to Syracuse, you won't be coming back to Tallahassee. For these young guys who this is kind of an extended trip, so to say, what do you think are some of the things that's important for them to learn, not just so much scheme-wise, but also just making sure they keep things like academics and whatnot?
Well, we'll take 2 or 3 academic people with us everywhere we go. So we'll have study hall, they'll do everything that they're supposed to be doing except actually sitting in the classroom. It won't be any slacking and less attention given to the offensive, the classroom part of what they're in school for. We are very serious about that. We have never allowed ourselves to compromise our academics for anything. If Ojo comes to practice late, Brandon comes to practice late, we allow kids to miss practices to take tests, so it won't be a problem from an academic standpoint. The problem is that when one of the farthest schools south, and to go up and back, you end up putting yourself at a travel disadvantage, because we all know that when you take long flights, it dehydrates you, and then when you go into the north and the heat, further it dehydrates you when you're in those rooms. So it just didn't make sense to come back, to turn around and go backpack when you got a 12 o'clock game on Saturday, an early game on Saturday. In Syracuse, this has been a little more challenging for a lot of us because of how far it is, and plus the fact that the depth perception in the Carrier Dome is different than anywhere else that we play. So to have the opportunity to practice on Friday morning there is very important, especially for all our new players who have not been there. But to leave Friday and not be able to go up there and practice, I thought would be more problematic. So we elected just to try to get up there early, go in there. We're gonna practice in Atlanta on Thursday, and then we'll go up Thursday night and practice Friday morning in the Carrier Dome, which is, the depth perception is altogether different than anywhere else you play in the country.
You've received a lot of kudos, especially from Patino on Saturday, just on building the team and the high ranking and doing it at a football school. When football has the stress that it does here, how tough is it building a program, and was it any different from when you were at Miami?
Well, in the first place, I think that's another cliche, a media cliche that we built up. That to me is what it is, a cliche. Ohio State has as much success in basketball as they have football. So is it a football school or a basketball school? Michigan has had as much success in basketball as they've had in football. I remember back in the day, was UCLA a football school or a basketball school? Because they were both. Is Texas a football school or a basketball school? I think that's just something that we use to identify something that's really convenient, and catchy phrase. In the reality of it, I think football helps basketball and basketball helps football, regardless of what school you're attending. And so it's always been, be honest with you, a plus for me. Wherever I've gone, when I've gone to schools, Oklahoma State was an unbelievable football atmosphere. We had success basketball-wise as well. Oklahoma, is it a football school or a basketball school? They've been to the Final Four. Coach Tubbs did a great job. And so my point to you, I think that there are more things that are important in terms of how they help each other than not. Oklahoma State, Miami, or Florida State, the athletic programs, as well, and the higher profile of the football programs have not done anything other than give us great name recognition. That when we go places, people recognize who we are. The Seminole brand is excellent, and I think that's been promoted basically by the success of our football program, and has allowed us to get, to be where we are. The challenge that we've had more than anything else is sometimes we haven't had enough quality depth that we have now, that we can sustain our effort. We've always had a pretty good group of kids, but now we've been able to add a full complement of guys who complement each other that really has allowed us to sustain our effort in execution in terms of how the style of ball that we want to play, that has allowed us to have a little bit more success than what we normally accustomed to having this time of year.
I know it's not where you want to be yet. You still have to win some more games to get into the tournament, and you still have a lot more you want to accomplish this season. But just seeing everything kind of build up to this and lead up to a great ranking internationally and some wins, what does that mean to you?
Let's put this in perspective. I've been very fortunate in my coaching career to have been in this situation at different schools at different times. And as young folks can see, I don't have this twisted. The cake's still in the oven. You don't ever take a cake out of the oven when it's half done. When it has not, cakes has to rise. You know what I mean? So we about halfway in the pan, and so we got to rise. And right now, the truth of the matter is we won how many games? 6. Okay, that won't get it. Winning 6 games is not enough. And the interesting thing about this team, we still got a lot of room for improvement. we have a lot of spots during the games where we falter. We're not totally in sync offensively. Sometimes our cuts are not as hard. We're not getting the ball into the post nearly as much as we need to. We're not creating shots for our teammates off the bounce as nearly as well as I think we should, which means that we're not getting those same quality perimeter shots as what you saw Notre Dame getting, because they were creating shots off of getting into the lane and finding their teammates on the perimeter. We have areas like that we need to grow in. Rebounding wise, I think we should be a better rebounding team, and I think we should be a better blockout team. I think we can go to the boards and get them better offense. I think we've cut down on the turnovers some, and we can we have the ability to score, but we're not going to win very many games shooting 46% from the free throw line. And to get out rebounded by 20 rebounds is a cause for concern, and you're not going to win very many games if you allow that to happen. So there are so many areas of our game that we need to improve on. Believe me, we have no right to be complacent, no right to be overly excited and not have things in proper perspective. We got a lot of work to go. We have a ways to go, and we let them know that every day.
Leonard, Jonathan Isaac's really come on the last couple games. Is it just kind of a freshman? Things are clicking for him now? It's come together. What do you think's going on?
Well, this is what I think. I think you guys saying Jonathan's coming on the last 3 games, but in reality, he might have been playing better ball earlier without the double-double statistics. I mean, he does so many other things that he values as a player that he wants to be more and more of a complete player. But in basketball, you get recognition when you score points and you get rebounds and block shots. But moving the ball, reversing the ball, taking away passing lanes, talking and communicating with his teammates, he's doing all those things that allowed us to be where we are. Sure, he lost a little momentum when he missed those 3 games. But I also think that he gained some knowledge and some experience by just watching. But because he is an unselfish player who tries to play the game the right way, and he values all the other little things that not very many people value, you evaluate him in what I consider not the proper light, because he really, really is a guy who's playing the game the right way. And it's refreshing as a coach to have a guy be so excited about the little things and not so overly concerned about all the statistics.
6th is the highest you've ever had a team ranked, even Oklahoma State and Miami. Just from the prior question that Safid asked, is it one of those things that you can take a couple seconds to savor it, or is it one of those, well, if it wasn't for Temple or North Carolina, we'd be top 3 or top 4?
The bottom line is, this is January what, 20 what? 23rd. I mean, it's good pub, it's good recognition. But in reality, you don't play the game to have a high ranking on the 23rd of January. You playing because you want to have a position at the end of the season. Then you can look back and say, okay, this is what we've been able to accomplish. And I'm sincere about that. I mean, I'm happy that where we are. I believe our guys are making progress. But it's not any time to get a tuxedo on and start taking in bows. It's time to roll your sleeves up and really go to work. And that's where we are. I mean, I've been a part of winning national title. I've been a part of I don't know how many different conference championships, but in reality, you're working toward. That's what makes college basketball so exciting. You're working toward being in that place at the right time at the end of the season, and you want to try to compete for something special at the end of the season. And so I'm holding out. I'm holding out right now. You know, I enjoy where we are, but I'm not going to allow this to be. This is not a destiny for me. This is we still on this journey. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Good luck.